This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by Magic Spoon. With Magic Spoon, you get the amazing flavor of your favorite childhood cereal, but with more protein and less sugar. Go to magicspoon.com/raw today to grab a variety pack, which comes with 4 flavors, and each serving has 0 sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and just 140 calories. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So get your next delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/raw today and use code RAW to get $5 off. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On this episode, we're talking all things Dynamite after WrestleMania. Pretty big show with new tag team champions. A huge debut for AEW. When I say debut, I mean he's actually signed to AEW now because he's already made a debut on AEW back when he was not with AEW. Anyways, we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, really quickly, we want to say our hearts and thoughts and minds and all the good vibes. And we need all the friendos to give all their good vibes to the Enforcer, who is laid up right now in a hospital. Mm-hmm. It's going to be there for like a month. Mm-hmm. And it's very serious business. Mm-hmm. We just want to send him our best.
Yeah.
Tonight on Smash Zone and for the next month or so, and maybe even beyond that, he's not going to be around. But I have no doubt in the world, I've got no doubt at all, that he'll come out of this better, stronger, faster, quicker. I think it's going to be like a $6 million man situation or like a RoboCop thing, but not quite as violent is what I'm hoping.
Yes, hopefully, yeah.
But all of our love goes to the Enforcer.
Absolutely.
There's a medical issue that he's dealing with, and so the doctors are doing all the stuff with him to make him better. So all the love goes out to the Enforcer. Get better, buddy.
We love you. We love you, man. Get better soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, we're going to do Smash Zone tonight. We'll probably do something more similar to what we did a couple weeks ago when Enforcer couldn't make it. And I don't know. I don't even remember what that was. Maybe we'll do a Let me tell you something.
It was Let Me Tell You Something.
We'll do a Let Me Tell You. I like watching the old wrestling. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Part of me likes gambling and whammies, too, but then without the Enforcer, it's just not the same.
Yeah, I think you and I, we're savvy enough to come up with something new, that'll be a little bit different so that it'll build demand for when Enforcer comes back.
We can watch Impact.
No, we're not doing that. Also, want to bring this up really quick before we dive into our AEW review, which, by the way, I totally need to put some AEW people on this thing. I just realized it's all WWE people. I had AEW people on there, but then it was like, oh, it's WrestleMania, and people are hyped about WWE right now.
At least he took Cody with the titles off.
That bums me out. So, anyways,
I thought you were into it now. What are you opening there?
You know what I'm into? I'm into friendoshop.com. Your shirt finally arrived.
Arrived. Cool.
So check this out right here at friendoshop.com. You can still use the promo code MANIA. For those of you watching, look at that. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Look at that.
What a great blue.
Man, that is cool. Look at that.
Yeah, that looks great.
So, it's like it's the old school SmackDown logo.
How does it feel? How does the feel of the print? Is it soft?
It's the same as the it's one of those that I don't know. It's fine. It looks good. It's vibrant.
That's good.
No, it looks good.
It's not heavy, though. That's my question.
No, it's not very heavy. Right. The Going In Raw Attitude Era logo one is kind of the similar. I forget, it's not direct to garment. It's the other one, direct to whatever. Anyways, digital. Who knows? Yeah. It looks great. It's nice and vibrant. It's not like all
washed out,
faded looking and stuff. Yeah,
so that's good. Good. Yeah. That usually we keep our promo codes up for a while, so you got plenty of time. Enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it also goes great with this SmackDown logo hat too. Look at
that,
this
looks
guy.
sharp.
Yeah, it looks good stuff. It's embroidered. Anyways, AEW, Jay White debuted. He is signed with All Elite Wrestling. Do we have details on?
Yeah, Meltzer has some details on the Zubber Radio last night. These transcripts come in from WrestlingNews.co. That's what Dave had to say. Quote, well, Jay White is a great wrestler, a great psychological wrestler. I'm surprised because if he's with AEW, he could go back to New Japan in theory, but he lost those matches that said he couldn't. WWE was after him. It was his choice between the two sides, and this was the side he chose. It's a feather in the cap of AEW and Tony Khan. He got the guy. That's a good thing for AEW. Now they have to use him the right way. That last sentence is really probably the most important one, the most difficult one for Tony Khan seemingly to get right, I should say, because we've seen a lot of high profile signings kind of fade into the background. I don't know, a matter of 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks after they debut. The manner in which Jay White debuted last night, not exactly the most promising.
Oh, I was hoping you liked it because I didn't.
I didn't. I
don't like when we both not like stuff.
I didn't absolutely dislike it. I just wish set situations. The show is supposed to open with Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson. As soon as they're both in the ring, Ricky makes his entrance. Jay White's music hits. He runs to the ring. Him and Juice beat the heck out of Ricky.
Yeah.
They throw up not two sweets. They're doing the old school Bullet Club thing, just the gun finger, and then they make the way up the ramp. I wish they would have let him have the mic and talk even for just a minute. To say something, drop, like a 1 minute mission statement of why he's in AEW.
It's not even my biggest problem with it.
I'm not even saying it's without problems. I'm just saying if they had done that, I'd be like, all right.
So this is what I was really, again, I hate getting into like fantasy booking. So look, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how to debut him, attacking somebody at the start of the show to get people jazzed up, it's a solid 6 for me.
Yeah,
I'd say it's 6. That's not terrible. What you want is you're aiming for a 10, right? So Vince would have done like a 2, which is a backstage interview. You know, they just sort of show up and it's like, why? What?
So on that count, AEW wins again.
I need to get that loaded up. I need to get that as like a soundbite here.
Yeah.
And on that count versus WWE or Vince McMahon, I should say, AEW wins again. That being said, he got jumped out of, okay. So he didn't get jumped out of Bullet Club, but he got attacked and by the guy who now runs Bullet Club, and he was told his era is over.
So let me ask you this: did you see? I guess they did I guess it was on Twitter, an interview where I think it was Renee went and knocked on a door, and Jay White opens, and maybe it's Lexi. I can't remember who it was. It was late last night when I watched it. And whoever the interviewer was asked Jay, "Are you still the leader of Bullet Club?" And he did this. He went, and then turned around and walked away, closed the door.
Okay, so they haven't ironed that out yet.
Yes.
I honestly thought he was going to attack Juice as well, because the knife pervert needs to be his own guy now. David Finlay jumped him out of Bullet Club in New Japan. That's how I read it. He's now the leader of Bullet Club. I feel like Jay White probably shouldn't be Bullet Club.
There's trouble inside Bullet Club because LP doesn't necessarily recognize David Finlay as leader.
Okay. I don't keep up with that stuff, and I should. I'm not saying that as like, but so I don't know. There's also kind of another problem here is that who's going to win this feud between Jay White and Ricky Starks?
Oh, Jay White has to.
That's a huge problem because look,
yeah, I know.
They just got Ricky Starks off of this great feud with Jericho, or I should say this long feud with Jericho.
Yeah, long feud with Jericho. That's told backwards, yeah.
It elevated the status of Ricky Starks.
Absolutely.
Then you put him in this thing with Juice Robinson, I guess, to get to Jay White, which is a high-profile thing. But Jay White can't lose his first feud in AEW, and Ricky Starks should not be losing any feuds right now in AEW.
Maybe the thought process is Jay White's coming in, former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Starks feuding with Jay is good for Ricky because it elevates him to the main event status because Jay was a main eventer. And hopefully, in relative short order, Jay will be presented as a main eventer in AEW too. I'm trying to, this is glass half full stuff. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. So the idea, Ricky will feud with Jay. Jay will need help from Bullet Club to beat Ricky. And even though Ricky loses the feud, he's still feuding with a main eventer and look good in the feud.
I feel like it's you got that like kind of almost like Ricky has to win. So like Jay White should win like the first match because of Bullet Club helping him. And then maybe they can do like a cage match and maybe Ricky can win that one. And then instead of doing a third match, they could just do like, a bunch of people interfere or other people get involved and they spin everybody else off.
Here's what it should be. The first match should be Ricky and partner versus Juice and Jay White.
Okay,
Ricky
sure.
and partner can win that.
Action Andretti.
Whoever, yeah. Although I think he's hurt. I thought it saw that he was hurt. Maybe I'm wrong.
Dante Martin. Sorry, you said he was hurt, and then his first name that came to mind.
And then the one-on-one match, obviously Jay will win.
Yeah, right.
With Bullet Club help. And then if they want to do a third bout, I don't know. I feel like Ricky will win the tag match, Jay will win the singles bout, and they'll go their separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. So let's talk about glass half full. Okay, let's talk about glass half full. Glass half full is, I think, a better move for Jay White than going to WWE.
Sorry, Action Andretti is not hurt. Sorry.
Okay.
There was reports or thoughts that he was, but then after the thoughts, no.
Okay. So let's talk about glass half full.
Yeah.
This is a better... Right now, the reality of the situation is this is a better move for Jay White than had he gone to WWE. Yeah. Because AEW has a higher profile here than New Japan does because on cable television. And if he can he's only 30 years old.
Yeah.
So whether he signed a 2-year deal or a 5-year deal, he's still going to be at prime age to go to WWE and make a big, big splash there. That's going to be a big deal when he goes there because he's still really young. And one day he's going to go to WWE. I don't really know what the deal was with why he didn't go to WWE in the first place. If it was they didn't want him, Vince didn't want him, what the situation was, if there was a hiring freeze.
Maybe he just saw, well, it's like Vince is coming back. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. That could be as well. I think other people are going to have that same opinion if that's the case. So regardless of what the situation was, the thing about the Vince stuff, I feel like wrestlers by and large, it's like such a toss up as to whether or not, if it's up to them, right? Like if you've had experience there, then yeah, you might know to stay away. If you haven't had any experience there, you might think, wow, look at Cody, look at AJ Styles. Like I've got a good shot at doing pretty well over there because I fit a certain thing, as opposed to automatically thinking that Vince is going to screw you over. I have no idea what people think about Vince, like what high profile indie wrestlers honestly think.
Yeah.
And I say indie, I'm sorry. I know New Japan's not indie, but what high profile free agents think about Vince McMahon who have never dealt with Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always feel like those wrestlers probably have the confidence in themselves to think I could be an AJ Styles or I can be a Cody as opposed to I'm going to get treated like dog shit by Vince McMahon.
I would wonder if Jay White had some conversations with Gallows and Anderson. Obviously there's a lot of former Bullet Club members who either are in or have been or been in and out of WWE that he could talk to and or Kenta for that matter as well. Talk to them about their experiences and just see if it's a fit for him,
Yeah, sure.
With Vince around. Obviously if Triple H was still running things, maybe things would be different, but maybe he just thinks, in AEW, there's the schedule's lighter. In theory, you might have more say over your creative direction. Again, in theory, whether any of your pitches are actually implemented is something else entirely. Dax, after they beat the Guns for the tag titles, tweeted in response to somebody, essentially re-signed with AEW because of the schedule. Mm-hmm. And as he put it, gives me an opportunity to give back to wrestling.
Yeah.
I still think the travel schedule is probably pretty attractive to wrestlers.
Yeah.
In AEW, where you work for the most part once a week.
Yeah.
You probably get paid pretty well to do it.
Yeah, if you're older and you have like a family, I agree with that. But Jay White's like 30 years old. Like I don't know that'd be an issue with him. Anyways, we don't know what his motivation is.
No, we don't know what the motivation is. He's in AEW though, and considering Vince seemingly is running creative in WWE, you can make the case that AEW right now is a better situation for him.
It could be. Off of first impressions, I'm not impressed, but hopefully they'll get him there because I think that he has the potential to be a main eventer. It's just you got to treat a person like a main eventer. You look at Keith Lee, that guy totally could have been a main eventer, and look at how he's being treated now. He's about to take a loss to Chris Jericho, and that ain't going to be a feud. He's just another line. Well, he's in service of another feud.
Well, it'll be his feud with Swerve. Swerve will cost him the match.
Yeah, I know, but mixing it up with Jericho is I don't know that Swerve's going to cost him the match. You don't think that they think that Jericho is like sort of more power ranked up than Keith Lee is?
No, I'm pretty sure Swerve will cost them the match because they got to push that story somehow.
Socks
Sorry,
the waving cat here in our Twitch chat says Sean Ross Sapp seemed to suggest WWE weren't returning Jay White's calls anymore. Okay.
Well, sounds like they could be doing it. They were doing a bit of a hiring freeze ahead of whatever transaction they were doing for WWE then.
Yeah, that could be. So anyways, also, we have an announcement that, let's talk about this before we talk about the tag titles.
Sure.
August 27th, they're bringing back the All In branding for AEW at Wembley Stadium, not Arena,
yeah.
Stadium.
Stadium, yes.
Which last I checked has a capacity of 90,000. I don't know what it would be for like wrestling necessarily because sometimes that changes.
Yeah.
But they're doing a big stadium show the week before All Out there in London. That's pretty huge news. You and I have been advocating for AEW to do a stadium show. And I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting if they're... Look, I have no doubt that they have long-term plans to run stadiums here in America. I think the idea of running a stadium in the UK is a phenomenal one because it's a market that's starved for AEW. They don't go there. And you know, those European crowds are can be quite lively, as we saw at Clash at the Castle. So do you see them needing to make any sort of big adjustments or returns? Or people that might be on the CM Punk. Does CM Punk going to come back for this thing, Larson?
I mean, it's a possibility. Is it a necessity? I don't know if it's a necessity per se. You know, between the talent they have in AEW and some people potentially they can bring in from New Japan, they can probably craft a pretty compelling card that will draw a massive crowd. Socks the Waving Cat here says Ospreay and Omega having their rematch at Wembley would probably be pretty huge. You could do Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson. That could be pretty huge. I mean, there's any number. If they want to continue with the elite Blackpool Combat Club, imagine having Blood and Guts in a huge stadium show.
Yeah,
that could be something.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know what they. I mean, it seems like Blackpool Combat Club. Bryan Danielson was amazing last night, and the elite are heading for a match probably at Double or Nothing. Whether that's Blood and Guts or something else, who knows? But the way Tony Khan books his faction feuds. Typically through the summer, kind of expect that feud to go all the way maybe till All In or All Out.
Yeah, so that's another thing that we can talk about here is with a stadium show 1 week or 10 days or whatever it is from what day? When is All Out this year?
It'd be the
Labor Day
weekend, so it'll be the following weekend.
Yeah, so it'd be the following weekend. Building feuds. Heading to All Out, which is, and we don't know if the stadium show, I kind of doubt the stadium show is going to be an actual pay-per-view. It's probably going to be like a special, or I saw on Twitter, like somebody suggesting perhaps it's going to be an HBO Max thing because of the Warner Discovery stuff. We don't really know at this point what it's going to be, but building a feud, as we sort of saw with Forbidden Door, it being so close to, what was it, Double or Nothing, I think. Yeah. This is even closer because it's only a week out from one of their big major pay-per-views, like All
Arguably
Out.
Their WrestleMania, yeah.
All Out, I think it's All Out or Double. Like I don't know which one they consider bigger, but yeah, like that's the one that kicked everything off. Well, it's the sister to All In. All In sort of kicked everything off. But but do you foresee any issues building feuds for the United States show versus the stadium show?
You know what?
How could they go about that?
It'd be great if rather than having 13 matches on one card and 12 on the other, have the 25 matches happen across 2 pay-per-views a week apart. Do like 7 on one and 7 on the other, and give them time. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I understand. Odds are, since this is a huge Wembley show, their first show in the United Kingdom, they're going to go all out and with All In. And probably have 15 matches on the card. Because, more bang for the buck.
You know what you could do, I guess, is sort of take the New Japan model when they have like a 2-night show. You have some high-profile single stuff, but then because look, you need to book both shows with your biggest stars. Yeah. Put them in like lower card tag matches. I mean, I see what you're saying, I do, but it's like I don't think they're going to go into Wembley Stadium without Mox. If Mox is going to be at at All Out.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying, but I don't know if they can afford to do that.
If you're using the New Japan model, then let's say they have 10 feuds going on. Just using that number just kind of randomly.
Sure.
So they say, all right, 5 of those storylines we're going to put a primary focus on All In, the other 5 at All Out. So the 5 feuds that aren't being focused on for All In, we'll have tag matches or something at All Out and vice versa. You can
multi-man matches.
That's the New Japan.
That's the New Japan model that I'm talking about. Yeah, but then you're kind of eating up the idea of other talent. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that, because that is kind of a tough, kind of a tough gig
and maybe if Punk does come back, of course, All Out's always in Chicago. Might be United Center this year. Is it possible that he returns at All In?
Somebody here in chat said,
that's what Sox Waving Cat brings it up, and then has the match at All Out. Who knows?
Yeah. What do you think is going to main event All In, the Wembley show?
That is a good question.
I think don't you do like Blood and Guts there?
You could.
Maybe you main event that with Blood and Guts.
Could.
And then you, because that usually goes down. That usually happens in the summertime. So you just, push it till then. I mean, that's a way. The thing is, the problem with that's a ways off.
It is.
Like, that's still a ways off for this feud that is hot right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Hangman took that screwdriver to the head. That was crazy.
Woo. Woo.
That was right. We got a little bit of Captain Planet Bryan Danielson.
Oh, yeah. Planet's champion.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Let's talk about this real quick before we get to the breakdown of the show. We also had FTR defeating the Guns to win the AEW tag titles, and it seems like they're sticking around AEW for a while longer now.
Probably. It's probably a smart move on their part. They got to be feeling especially that they dodged a bullet there with Vince being back.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's good. Beef up that tag division. I would imagine we're going to get the Acclaim versus FTR at what's it called, Double or Nothing. What do you think that you think that's going to be the match for the tag
they might
titles?
want to keep them on separate paths until they finally collide, because I mean, at this point, you got FTR who are insanely over, and you got the Acclaimed who are still insanely over. I don't know if you want the Acclaimed taking a whole lot of L's for a while. So I don't know. Who knows how long the Acclaimed are going to be feuding with Jericho Appreciation Society. They're taking their time with their feud with 2.0 as it is. So
it's either going to be another week or it's going to be 3 months.
Exactly.
That's kind of how they do things. Before we dive into the recap, man, do you want to pay some bills?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's take a break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Magic Spoon. Steve, you know what?
What?
Ever since I was a kid, I have absolutely loved cereal. And honestly, still eat a lot of it today. But as I've gotten older, I've realized I got to watch out for all that sugar and all those empty carbs. My body can't handle that stuff like it used to when I was younger.
Man, I hear you on that point. I got to tell you, Magic Spoon has all the flavor of your childhood favorites, but with less sugar and more protein. Right now, if you go to magicspoon.com/raw, you can get your hands on a Magic Spoon variety pack. It includes 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and my personal favorite, peanut butter. It's got 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 to 5 net carbs, and only 140 calories per serving.
Yeah, it's high in protein, has 0 sugar, is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. I've already finished my box here of the Cinnamon Roll Magic Spoon, because I've been eating it a bunch, especially in the mornings, because it's delicious, and it's got a ton of protein that I want in my body before I do my morning workouts. So go to magicspoon.com/raw to grab a variety pack and try it today. Be sure to use our promo code RAW at checkout to save $5 off your order.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for some weird reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/raw and use code RAW to save $5. Thanks to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this episode of Going In Raw.
And this episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve,
Yeah.
we all grow and change as we go through life, and getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process. I thought I had a pretty good idea of who Larson was until I hit my mid-20s. It was around that time that I was feeling really overwhelmed by life and started dealing with severe anxiety. And it got to the point where I realized that I had to go to therapy. And while it took me a few tries to find someone I felt comfortable talking to, once I did, I learned positive coping skills so I could better manage my anxiety and help me become, I hope, a better version of Larson.
Absolutely, man. Therapy is a way to deepen your understanding and self-awareness. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can help you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are.
BetterHelp is completely online. It's designed to be suited to your schedule, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. All right, man. So let's go ahead and dive into the AEW recap. We were supposed to get Ricky Starks versus Juice Robinson, sweet boy. But instead, Jay White attacked, and it was a no contest.
Yeah, the match never even started.
Never happened. Didn't happen.
Never happened. Didn't happen.
You thought it happened? Didn't happen.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. So yeah, the beatdown all culminates in Jay hitting Ricky with a Blade Runner. No promo time for him, but he did say something like, "It's my era. I'm all elite," as they were walking up the ramp. So
yeah, the knife pervert is now all elite. He got the graphic and everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a really good signing for AEW. Now it's just up to Tony Khan to get some good creative for him.
You got to use it right, man.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
After that, we had the video package for Adam Cole's in-ring return that happened last week. And then we got a Chris Jericho interview. Tony Schiavone asked him to explain why he came to the ring last week after the Adam Cole match. And Jericho says, "Listen, I got nothing against Adam Cole. He's a tremendous talent, a huge part of AEW, and I'm happy that he's back after 9 months. Always happy to see a brother return from a serious injury. He had a great match against Danny Garcia, and he got the win. And then Britt comes down, and he's got the girl, and the streamers come from the ceiling. He's got the celebration, but then it keeps going on and on and on. Meanwhile, Daniel Garcia, one of my right-hand men and one of the greatest talents of this generation, is lying in the ring while you continue to celebrate. You punked him out, Cole. You made him look like a piece of trash, and I had to put an end to it. I had to stop your disrespect."
And then Keith Lee steps in and says, "I was just passing by and heard you mumble disrespect. Since I've been here, you've been the poster child for disrespect. Now, I'm not going to harp on the things you've done, but I myself have had a couple wars with Adam Cole, and while I may not particularly be fond of him, I have respect. I know a lot about that. You, however, perhaps next week in Milwaukee, maybe I teach you a thing or two about respect." It was good to see Keith Lee on TV. We don't get enough of that.
It was very good to see him on TV.
And if this is a means to advance the story with Swerve, so they actually tell that story, and maybe Tony Khan realized that Swerve doesn't need a faction, just have these two wrestle. Let's go. Do it.
Yep. I agree. After that, we had House of Black versus the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Sue's back.
Yeah.
Sue drove the Best Friends to the arena. Los Faction and Gobernables sat ringside. And what do we have here? You like this? This is a good match. There's a lot of fun stuff going on.
It was a lot of fun.
I like whenever Orange Cassidy. Sorry, just a little place out. I love when it gets serious.
Yeah.
I like he's yelling at Malachi Black and shit.
They did announce later on, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, that Dralistico, who is sitting ringside, Bellify, is going to challenge Orange Cassidy for the international title. Battle of the Belts, I think.
That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good match right there, man.
Yeah, it is. This was a good match, too, especially down towards the end where, Orange kept on trying to hit Malachi with an orange punch, never could connect. That was pretty great seeing Trent hit everybody with pile drivers.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was pretty cool. So the finish saw Malachi looking for a black mass on Trent. Instead, Orange does hit him with the orange punch here. Chuck rolls up Buddy, gets a 2. Buddy looks for his finish. Chuck reverses that into a roll-up, gets another 2, and then Buddy blocks Soul Food and hits a stomp on Chuck to get the win.
That is correct. House of Black wins again. After that, we had a Christian Cage promo. This is kind of cool. There was like a sort of a red Rawgate type thing, like a big entrance thing, but otherwise it was all dark and stuff. And and he walks towards some red light, and then Luchasaurus emerges from the red Rawgate, and they just walk towards the camera. So Luchasaurus is back. He's got like a cool shoulder thing with like a bunch of spikes
on it. He's got like a shoulder pad there with some spikes and stuff on it, yeah.
Very menacing, that Luchasaurus.
Very much so. Very much so. Very scary dinosaur.
Very scary dinosaur human.
I mean, honestly, I think if I was face to face with most dinosaurs, I'd probably be pretty scared. Even the plant eaters are huge.
You know, man, that's
and
why I got to watch that.
Or spikes on them and stuff. It's frightening.
Got to watch that 65 movie with Adam Driver. Maybe it'll change your opinion or validate it. I don't know.
I mean, I see the trailer. It's him with the laser gun shooting dinosaurs.
Yeah, right.
So those dinosaurs are a threat to Adam Driver. How do I stand a chance?
You don't.
I don't. That's the point.
You know who also didn't stand a chance? Riho against Jamie Hayter, because they had a match, and Jamie Hayter ended up getting the win here.
Awesome.
This is probably match of the night for me. This was awesome. This match was
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You know, I'm happy that they gave this match a ton of time. I'm happy they didn't put it in the same old 6:30 time spot. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
You know, and just giving it time and moving it to a different position in the show. Like, okay, maybe this is a step in the right direction. Now give us at least one more match on Dynamite and with a good amount of time, and do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, man. Mitch.
That's the thing. So, yeah, this is really good. Jamie got the win. Riho was hitting Jamie with all sorts of suplexes, German suplex, dragon suplexes. She looks for another dragon suplex down towards the finish. Jamie blocks it by grabbing onto the ropes, hits the boot, looks for a Haterade. Riho ducks it. Riho's looking for a backslide. Instead, Hayter counters with a Haterade, and Riho kicks out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Jamie picks her up. Huge, stiff Haterade to get the win.
Yeah, that was good stuff, man. Jamie Hayter, they're both such fun wrestlers to watch.
I know.
Yeah. After that, Renee interviews the Outcasts. They congratulate Jamie on her successful title defense, and Ruby's like, don't get too attached to that title, Jamie, because the Outcasts are here to get some much-needed control back in the women's division. We're going to do that by one of us becoming AEW Women's Champion. And Renee is like, trying to stir the pot. She's like, which one of you? There's three of you, and there's only one title. And Saray's like, whoa, just relax on that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Tony says what's important right now is that Jamie Hayter is not the champion.
Yeah. Saraya was quick to dodge answering that question.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2.0 come out to the ramp, and Daddy Magic asked the crowd, hey, do you want to know what makes my nipples hard?
Do you want to know what makes my nipples hard? He just puts everything he has into that.
It's the fact that the Acclaimed are joining Jericho Appreciation Society, the epitome.
Sports. Epitome.
Sports.
Entertainers. So the Acclaimed come out. Yeah. Caster basically, via his freestyle, tells him no. The JAS means just Acclaimed scissoring. And then Parker's like, get your asses back over here for a minute, because I need you to clarify something. Because by the sound of that rap, you guys just want to fight together. So I got us a match, the four of us, because everybody loves the JAS. Now scissor me, Daddy Magic. And then Billy Gunn says, no. Scissoring should only be done by professionals. So Anthony, let's show him how it's done. And they do the scissoring.
Yeah. Then we got MJF Day, first video package at Oyster Bay City Hall, I would imagine, where, they're doing the ceremony, key to the city, official proclamation from the city about MJF Day. And then it's time for the MJF Day, celebration in the ring. So he's played out by a live band. He's got a tux on, white jacket. He walks up to a mic on stage, says, welcome to MJF Day, and I am the host with the most, the devil himself, MJF. And right now we're here to celebrate MJF Day live in the most magical place in the world, Long Island. And he says, it's so magical here that when it rains, it doesn't just rain water. It rains pennies from heaven. He tells the band to hit it, and he starts singing Pennies from Heaven with the live band. Eventually, he makes his way down to the ring, and where the Oyster Bay town supervisor walks at the podium, the crowd boos, and MJF's like, whoa, don't ruin this for me. This is kind of a huge deal. And says, and the town supervisor says MJF is the pride of Long Island, presents MJF with the key to Long Island, declares April 5th, MJF Day in the town of Oyster Bay. And so the town supervisor finishes up, and MJF's like, give it up for town supervisor. It's like, now I'm talking, so hey, what's going on? He says, obviously, it's a huge honor. And he just goes on, talks about he deserves this. You know who doesn't deserve it? Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy. talks some trash about Jungle Boy, and he tells a story about when he was in 8th grade, I believe.
Yeah.
He tells a story about having ADD, and he says, no matter how hard I tried to focus in school, it wouldn't happen to me. And there was an 8th grade teacher who would tell him every day that, after he had lost focus to answer a particular question on the board, he'd always say, I don't know the answer. And then the teacher would laugh at him and would tell the class, don't be like Mr. Friedman.
Yeah, Mrs. Benedict being really rude to this poor child.
And he said this would happen every day. And on the last day of school, the teacher pulled him aside and said, where does your brain go when you can't pay attention? And MJF said the answer every time was pro wrestling. He tells the teacher, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. Mm-hmm. And apparently Mrs. Benedict told him the probability of that is slim to none. And he says, well, look at me now. It looks like your math is a bit off because I just got the key to Long Island and I'm the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah,
he says, so the lesson is don't be like Mrs. Benedict. And then he says, very rude term. And the crowd there in Long Island starts chanting that rude term. So anyways, he says, if you're a Long Island kid who's struggling in school and people are telling you can't accomplish your dreams, just know that when you bust, you could be anything you want.
Oh, bust your ass, supposed to say.
Bust your ass, you could be anything you want except one thing, be. So anyways, he grabs the title, walks out of the ring. He says, you know what? You people want to hear an encore? And they're like, yay, we want to hear you sing some more, because who doesn't? He says, and then somebody behind him crashes some cymbals. And then MJF is like, he's got a mask on and sunglasses and like a hat. So you know it's somebody. First, I thought it was Darby. But then it turns out just to be Jungle Boy. So he yelled at the guy, thinking that it was just like one of the musicians up there. And then he turned around, and then Jungle Boy like reveals himself. And then whoop-at, takes him down with a double leg, and then beats him up a little bit.
Yeah. And then the security and producers come out to break it up, and then Sammy Guevara makes his way out, because in the midst of the brawl, MJF dropped the AEW title. It's just laying on the stage there. So Sammy goes over, grabs it, picks it up, holds it in Jungle Boy's face, holds it in MJF's face, and kind of throws it at MJF and makes his way down the ring because he's got a match next against Komander.
It is such a testament to just how much of a hole Sammy Guevara's dug himself in. This guy is the most spectacular wrestler. You put him in there with Komander, it's like it's just your jaw drops the entire time, because these two guys are great. But the crowd hates Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
And that is a testament to how to just what kind of a hole he dug himself in over the past couple of years, and he is desperately trying to dig himself out of that hole on All Access.
Yeah, he is.
Let me ask you something. His performance, I shouldn't say performance. Do you think All Access is a performance?
When he went to talk to Eddie Kingston, yes, they had already had that conversation in the locker room.
I agree 1,000%. Do you think his sentiment is genuine on that show?
It feels very genuine. That bit at the end of the episode after his match with Danielson, where he's, in tears, talking about, I used to work at Subway and Whataburger, and some days I put so much effort into looking and thinking about what's next rather than really appreciating what I have right now. That felt very genuine.
Do you think he's going to accomplish what I have not watched? I'll be honest with you. I never watched any of his vlogs. I only saw bits and pieces, but that seemed to be his thing was, let me be so obnoxious. That's going to get me heat. But it turned into a real barrier between him and the fans, because they so took that as who he really is. And I have no idea. For all I know, it is who he really is. And no matter what they do with his character, if they want him to be a good guy, it ain't never going to work. It's never going to work because of what he did to himself. And it seems like he's taken All Access like as a way to be like, okay, I need to reset myself, because no matter what I do in the ring, the crowd is going to crap all over me. Like the chant that he gets is, you still suck.
Yeah.
And I watch All Access, and I have no idea if he's going to accomplish it. He does come off as much more relatable, but it also makes you wonder, because of that previous behavior, is he being disingenuous? Like, I just wonder to the general crowd, is it going to make a difference?
Oh, I don't know if it's going to make a difference. And, is it disingenuous? Maybe. Is it?
There's no way to tell.
Yeah, or is it just various facets of the same person? I guess it's entirely possible that someone in a particular instance can be, a bit of a jerk, or come off as a jerk, as he did in the vlogs, or as he has on TV from time to time, but also at the same time, really be conscientious about his image as it was constructed via those vlogs and try to do something about it.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive things. They can kind of coexist at once,
Yeah.
So this was a really fun match. Komander doing all sorts of crazy things, walking on the ropes, jumping really high, doing flips, all that kind of stuff. It was fun. He's going for he's walking the ropes, looking for another shooting star press. Sammy gets his knees up, gets a 2. Sammy's looking for a GTH. Komander escapes that, rolls up Sammy, gets a 2 count. Sammy hits a super kick. He goes to the top ropes. Komander kicks him, follows with a rope walk, like he's maybe trying to do like a Hurricane Rana or something like that. And Darby's up in the rafters watching. And Sammy hits him with a cutter and then follows with a GTH to get the win.
Yeah. So then he gets on the mic and he delivers a promo. I thought this promo was really good, but again, and I know, look, they're in Long Island, so anything you say bad about MJF, the crowd's going to crap on you. But I kind of feel like the crowd would have given him the same reaction. They just do not give him the benefit of the doubt in any way, shape, or form.
No. And here's the thing: like he's gotten way more comfortable on the mic. Like his delivery on this was good,
a million times better. Yeah,
the delivery was good. The content was kind of meh, but like
it was a bit rambly.
It was very rambly, but the delivery, like he had confidence behind what he was saying.
Yeah,
and he delivered it with confidence.
Oh, he's a million times better on the mic now than he used to be.
Yeah.
He just needs to focus a little bit, but he is. But again, if the crowd isn't going to, it's going to take a while, I think, of him dialing his. And I haven't watched his vlogs lately. I haven't watched them in the past. I don't even know if he still does them. I'm assuming he does because it's probably a decent revenue stream for him.
Yeah.
But maybe he's toning it down there. I think that Ty Mello comes off really well in All Access. I thought that her stuff was really, really good. But anyways, so he gets on the mic and he says, "Look, Tony, I just did something the world champ doesn't do, wrestle." He says, "Honestly, what was that shit I was just watching? American Idol? Max, you came out here and you said you beat every one of the pillars, but let's be honest, when we got in the ring, what actually happened? Let's go back. Jacksonville 2021 in the main event of Dynamite. I had you beat until another person helped you win. You didn't beat me. Spears in a steel chair beat me. If we were supposed to be the 4 pillars, the 4 people who've been building up this company since day one and will continue to build it to greater heights, it's safe to say your side wasn't built by you. Your side was built by the people you tricked to get here. You lied and manipulated your way to the top, and I'm almost jealous of it. But Max, you're finding out what I already know, that I would hate who I was if I wasn't myself, if I wasn't getting myself to the top. Because who the hell are you? You were Cody's friend and then you're not. You were Tony's friend and then you're not. You're in the inner circle and then you're not. You're in the pinnacle, then you're not. You're in the firm and then you're not. Max, you did the one thing I'll never do. You sold your soul to be a pillar here. That's as far as my side. That's as far as my side on how it was built. I built this shit brick by brick, moment after moment after moment. I put my heart and soul into this place. I'm not going anywhere. I love AEW. I'm not using this place to go anywhere else. This place has given me so much. I met my wife here, main event and pay-per-views, so I'll be damned if I'm going to let some rich bitch from Long Island tear everything down in the bidding war of 2024. So screw Darby Allin, screw Jungle Boy, and screw MJF, because Sammy Guevara is your next AEW champion. So yeah, it's a bit rambly, and people complaining about other people letting them win when he's been a heel and he's had the inner circle and the Jericho appreciation side of his back. In character, it's a bit disingenuous.
It is.
But no, in terms of his delivery, I thought it was really good. Just going to be interesting to track his career over the next year, especially to see if he's able to dig himself out of the hole he got himself into.
Yeah, he got himself in a massive hole, and if he does, hats off to him, I guess. We'll see if he can do it. Next, we had Ethan Page versus Hook for the FTW title. This match was short, but it was fun. So early on, Page takes a swing at Hook. Hook ducks it, hits the exploder. So then Page rolls out of the ring, rams Hook into the apron, ring steps, ring post. He's back in the ring. He goes, "Hey, Matt," because Matt Hardy's ringside. "Look at this." And he starts doing the Matt Hardy dance. Sets up for a twist of fate. Hook escapes that. He hits a twist of fate of his own. And then Isaiah Cassidy gets on the apron to distract the ref. And Hook goes over there and gets in his face. So then Page goes and reaches for the FTW title to hit Hook with it. Well, Matt Hardy grabs it. They're kind of playing tug of war for a second until Matt Hardy pulls it from him, blasts Ethan Page with it, and then Hook locks on Red Rum for the win. And then Hook goes up the ramp and fist bumps Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy.
Yeah.
And there was some back and forth on Twitter between Hardy and Stokely. And Hardy said, "Just wait till you see what's in the contract that Ethan Page signed for this match." I wonder if there was a stipulation in that contract that if Ethan Page lost, then the firm would no longer have the contracts of Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cass.
All right, okay.
Because this whole time, Matt Hardy is like at first he and Ethan Page were really bumping heads.
Yeah,
I know it happened on Dark and Elevation mostly, but it was good stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then at a certain point, Matt Hardy's like, okay, I need to, get tight with Ethan Page, gain his trust.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So that I can
slip that in there.
Because he said like Ethan Page signed the contract without even looking at it.
Yeah, I like all the firm stuff. I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and I thought this was a good moment right here. That was kind of overlooked with everything else going on.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was good. And I'm digging Hook lately, man. I think that they keep him pretty simple. They keep him in doing his thing, and I kind of want to see him get to that next. Like, I don't know what the next thing is going to be for him, but because I don't know where you go, but because Orange Cassidy's not going to lose that All Atlantic title.
No. He's yet to really have a real long, protracted feud.
He hasn't.
He's kind of feuding on and off with the firm for a little bit, but it's not like steady.
Who would you put him in a thing with? Because all the names that I can think of, I'm like, they can't lose to Hook. Like, you're not going to have Wardlow lose to Hook. You're not going to have Hobbs. You can't have Hobbs lose to Hook. Starks, you can't have him lose to Hook. Orange Cassidy can't do that.
He should be in a feud with Wheeler Yuta.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's actually really good.
Because then he could feud with Blackpool Combat Club. And maybe they'll bring out, that feud to bring out some dimension in his character.
I like that. And he's actually a good target for them to try to recruit.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, no, I don't want to do that.
And he goes, no, I want to be in the elite.
Before we continue on. Yeah, that's what he says. He says, I want to be in... I don't know, whatever. I want to be in Trust Busters. I'm a Trust Busters guy.
Oh, gosh.
I was trying to think of a crappy faction. Really quick. We've got over 700 people watching us on YouTube right now. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
If it's not too much to trouble for us to ask, can you give us that thumbs up? Hit that subscribe button and the notify bell so you always get your new Going In Raw content. Also, we've got, in case you didn't know, another channel called Friendo Club Wrestling, where we put all of our short form content. Sometimes we do some Going In Raw clips like the Vince McMahon stuff from the other day. We put that up this morning, but also coming up either later on today or tomorrow, we've got Chat GPT, AI books WrestleMania. Can AI... that was a lot of fun. There was some good poetry there. So we've got that going on. So check that out. And then also here on the YouTube, new channel member Ryan. So thank you very much. And then, Ray Wrighton here with the super chat says, hey, friendos, can't wait for my hat and stickers. Looking forward to that there from friendoshop.com. Use code Mania. Travis Graves, member now for 2 months here on the Friendo Club. Thank you very much. We also have, let's see here. Where is it?
There's one here from Big Horny Dude.
Damn it, I was going to get that one. Big Horny Dude says, oh, man, good to be with the Friendos for 4 months. # fire Vince, or at least lock him in some sort of Superman mirror prison.
The
Phantom Realm. The Phantom Dimension?
Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
Phantom Zone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, Wrastlin' Wriggle here, member for 3 months, re-up, says, oh, man, it's Sue. Thanks for the awesome content. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lesia gifted another 10 memberships. Lesia has been gifting memberships left and right here on the YouTube. Thank you so much, Lesia. We really appreciate it.
And then Duckman gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Duckman.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Roy Costin has been a member now for 1 month. He re-ups, says, Larson, you could have helped. That was a plan that Triple H had for you. You seem not huge on that. He says, in seriousness, love you guys. Y'all are the most relatable reviewers to me. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. If you become a channel member or a patron at $5 and up, and all you got to do on YouTube is click that join button. You get access to our weekly bonus episodes, which we do live, but you can also check them out on demand. You get access to the Big Red Predictions Challenge. Obviously, April with WrestleMania done and in the books. We're looking forward to May. We got a huge May for the predictions. The Big Red Challenge, and Force is going to be defending that title in May. First up in May, we've got, what is it?
Well, it's Backlash early May that we might do like a bonus thing.
To get an advantage heading into...
To get the advantage heading into the last weekend of May, Memorial Day weekend, because we got Double or Nothing, we got King and Queen of the Ring, and we got NXT Battleground all that weekend.
Right. So it's going to be one big mega predictions weekend.
Like it was with Mania weekend, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Which should be a lot of fun, exactly. So you can get that through YouTube channel memberships and, of course, the Patreon. Of course, that's where we get all our questions from for our recap episodes for channel members and patrons.
Mopey Corbin asks, when is AAA? Triple Mania is on the 16th, I believe.
I think it's not this weekend, but next weekend.
From this Sunday, yeah. Yeah.
We're doing a watch-along for that, right?
Oh, heck yeah. It's Triple Mania.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool.
Triple Mania.
So moving on after that, we had the big announcement, Nigel McGinnis, who is All Elite now, which is awesome because we love Nigel. Do we know what Nigel's going to be doing?
No, he did commentary for Supercard of Honor. Mm-hmm. So it'd be cool if he did some commentary on AEW shows, whether it's Rampage or if there's another show happening. I don't know.
I'd love that.
Or on Dynamite even. Imagine a booth with Taz, Excalibur, Nigel.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Fantastic.
That'd be like top commentary team in my book.
Oh, I know.
That'd be awesome.
Nigel is so good.
He is really good. Yeah. So anyways, they announced All In London, August 27th. And he says, because he talked about, the original All In, which I was were you surprised that they went to the All In branding, given how there are a lot of people on the original All In show that I don't know that necessarily they want AEW fans to be going back and watching that.
Yeah. I guess the idea of as Cody talked about it, the philosophy of All In,
the spirit.
When he talked about it, in terms of how that he didn't feel like that spirit was there at the moment of Brawl Out.
Mm-hmm.
And if the spirit of All In is to capture a moment, take an energy in the world of pro wrestling and make a show out of it, then I guess that's what they're trying to do in London. So, to that degree, it makes sense that they're using that name, especially if it's the start of something.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
If this is the start of them going to the United Kingdom on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It makes sense. A lot of it. I mean, I understand your point, and I agree with it, but at the same time, I understand why they use that name as opposed to saying All Out or something like that. Especially if it's going to be All In London and All Out in Chicago within the span of a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice ways to bookend it.
No, that's some good. Yeah, you're right. The bookend aspect of it is pretty good. And then, they had Adam Cole come in and announce that it's going to happen at Wembley Stadium.
He's like the wrestler that makes all the announcements because he's the one that announced Forbidden Door.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
last year.
Oh yeah, dude. Wouldn't you? If I could have Chugs give all of our announcements.
Oh heck yeah!
In a second, in a heartbeat. Chugs is great. Love Chugs.
Yeah, Chugs is the best.
It really is. Anyways, after that, we had the Blackpool Combat Club against a couple of jabronis. No, some local competitors. They were annihilated pretty quickly. Three out of Mayhem's there. And then, Yuta makes dude tap out after a German suplex and a bunch of elbows.
I love this promo from Bryan Danielson.
This was awesome. So
Planet's champion to a degree, but
because he was doing
mean.
So he says, "You see, I was at home with my family, and I love my family. You know who else I love? I love Mox, him ripping at people's mouths. I love Claudio, him destroying people. I love Yuta, even if he is a little shithead. I love him."
Does Bryan Danielson watch the show? Because that's how we describe what we want Wheeler Yuta to be, as a shithead.
Guaranteed he doesn't. He says, "You know what else I love? I love professional wrestling. Do these guys," pointing at the local competitors, "do they look like professionals to you? They look like people the EVPs might have hired, and they're nothing but a bunch of amateurs. Amateurs. Impotent amateurs. As I look around this building tonight, I think the four of us are the only professional wrestlers in this building." That brings out Hangman Adam Page. He comes to the ring. He's got a head full of steam. Danielson says, "Oh, here he is, another amateur." So Page gets in the ring. He goes immediately after Mox, but of course he's outnumbered. Claudio and Yuta overwhelm him. The crowd starts chanting for Kenny. Danielson starts calling Page amateur, amateur, amateur. You want to know what a professional is? Claudio's a professional. Mox is a professional. Wheeler is a professional. And I love these men. You know what? You don't have anybody who loves you. Is anybody coming out from the back? No, because nobody loves this man. In fact, they don't even know what love is. That line killed me. They don't even know what love is. But I know what love is. And then he pulls a screwdriver out from his pocket. He starts telling a story. He says, "In fact, I've been at home teaching my kids a few things. a few things about how to fix up your house. And I think the house that is AEW needs to be fixed up from all these amateurs. So the Blackpool Combat Club holds up Page as Danielson just yells at him, amateur, amateur. Then he licks the screwdriver and he gouges Page in, I think, the forehead with it.
Yeah.
And Danielson says, Hangman's an amateur. Like I said, we're the only real professional wrestlers in this building in AEW. Hell, based on what I've seen this week, we're the only real professional wrestlers in America.
Woo!
Oh, that was good. That was good.
It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Hey, now's a good time to push this. Tom Talks Rubbish dropped us a super chat. Says, thank you for always being nice people. It was announced today that you're going to be a guest on Tom's.
I'm talking to Tom tomorrow.
You're going to talk some rubbish with Tom tomorrow, man. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So then we got FTR taking on the Guns in our main event.
Say yeah.
Say yeah.
So what do you think about the Guns coming out to Many Men?
Many Men.
Yeah. It's good. Awesome song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was sort of of two minds about it because it fits them.
Yeah.
But also I was like, number one, they probably spent a pretty penny on that.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to 50 Cent. He was one of the many awesome people to light the beam this year there at Golden One. I was going to say Arco there at Golden One.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it fits. It figures that they would use that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for a couple of reasons. But anyways, no, I love this match. I thought it was great. My favorite part, of course, was when they do the title shot thing to Dax and he kicks out, and that great close up on Austin with his lip quivering because he's like, and they're trying to get DQ'd the whole time because the stipulation is if they don't win the titles, then they're out.
They're out.
So even if they get a DQ and they don't win the titles, because the titles.
And then like the ref at first was, allowing a lot of leeway, and then until Dax gets hits with the low blow, and Austin's like, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell, and he's about to, and Cash grabs his arm. It's like pleads with him, no, let us win or lose, pinfall submission, don't DQ anybody.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so then there's a bit where Colton slides the title in, and the ref, I think it's Paul Turner, puts his foot on it and tries to give the timekeeper. While he does that, Colton slides the other title in. So Dax goes for a diving headbutt off the top. Austin hits him with it, covers. Dax kicks out. And then the Guns are looking for a 310 to Yuma on Dax. He fights out of that. He's looking for a sunset flip on Colton, and Austin's grabbing his hands. So he can't do it. And so then Cash hits the sunset flip by Austin. Maybe I have the Guns reversed here. Off the top rope. And so FTR wins with double pins. Double sunset flip pins to get the win. And afterwards, streamers fly. And Mark Briscoe comes to the ring to celebrate with FTR.
Yeah. They should do streamers every week, man. Whoever wins the main event should get streamers, Larson.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Right? Hey, make everybody feel good about... And then you do some ironic shit, like some heels, some bad guys cheat to win. And they get streamers.
Streamers everywhere, I know.
I kind of like that idea.
Confetti falls, I know.
We should rip that idea up, take it to Action Coast. By the way, this weekend, Saturday, 8 p.m., Action Coast Wrestling, no excuses. Best NorCal action independent wrestling. Meet Steve and Larson, the stars of Going In Raw. Also, the stars of Action Coast Wrestling. Saturday.
Door is 7:30. Bell at 8 o'clock, I believe. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
My goodness.
Boy, you got a feud going with your lunch right now, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm about to job out to my lunch. Anything else you want to mention about All Access? I know we talked about a few things during the course of the show.
I thought that it seemed a bit more. It was a lot more balanced this week.
Yeah.
I like that they had. I was looking very closely. I had to pause the screen a couple times at Thunder Rosa's home office to see if my fan art of hers was there because she had liked it on social media, and it wasn't. But it's not to say she didn't print it out and put it up somewhere. It might just not have been in the shot. But no, I like that they presented her side of things and just how serious her injury was.
Yeah.
I like that. She came off as incredibly genuine. She came off as sort of the most documentary-ish of everybody this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I really liked also the Ty Mello stuff. I got a little bit of secondhand anxiety of her having to pitch her idea to the Young Bucks, because that's got to be a nerve-wracking thing to do.
Really
I
does.
I liked that aspect of it. I thought it was a much less, a lot of it does come off as manufactured. You mentioned that Eddie Kingston seemingly didn't want to have anything to do with recreating that particular meeting.
Yeah. I know.
But I liked his bits too when he actually got to talk to the camera about this is who I am. And
I actually character. I'm like this 24/7. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
This week was a lot, I thought, more genuine feeling.
Yeah, it definitely felt more genuine. And apart from the bit with Eddie and Sammy, wasn't as focused as on backstage beef and drama. There was that one segment they wanted to have them talking about it on screen. And then they moved on, and then there was a bit, I think, from the prior episode mention of Thunder Rosa being champ, and how Britt was saying that kind of holds up a lot of the other stories going on. But by the time this episode came around, it was Soraya's making her return to the ring, her and Britt preparing for that feud. It was much more focused on the kind of I'm sure to a degree recreations of conversations that may happen, but a little bit of inside baseball in terms of how they put some of that stuff together. Like there's literally a shot of them talking out their promo, what they're going to say, but there's a card up that says, they requested audio didn't roll while they were discussing how they put together their promo. And I was like, okay, cool. They're showing them put this together, although we don't really get to hear.
And even
saying.
Yeah, they have to toe that. They have to toe that line. Yeah. Even when Saraya was giving her interview with Renee, and the empty seat was there, she was like, Britt didn't even bother to show up, and you see Britt off to the side watching, and the idea is this is a collaborative process. Yeah. Which again, speaks to the heart of professional wrestling. It's a collaborative process, and then the performance is what we see out in the ring. That stuff I find very interesting, and even Britt, and I know this is only the second episode, and I wonder if maybe there were some notes on the first one during the editing process, because all this stuff has been in the can probably, or edited now for a while.
Yeah, this is all from November.
Right. Yeah. But I wonder if after the first episode, was seen by the producers heading into editing the second episode, if they're like, okay, let's dial back Britt Baker a little bit, because she came off as a bit, I don't know, manufactured in the first episode, and that really was a lot better in this episode.
There's a bit where her and Wardlow go to the gym.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Wardlow came off better than he has in the entirety of him being in AEW. And it was just a little bit, and I didn't know this, she gave a backstory. So like, Wardlow was my first real friend in professional wrestling, and there was a bit with her talking about, the pros and cons of being in such a high profile feud with Saraya, who was making her return. And Wardlow was like, she's going to get praise. She's going to get the credit if the match is good. And if the match is bad, you're going to get the blame. Yeah. Which was some interesting insight. But he comes off as incredibly relatable, which I always thought was more interesting about Wardlow anyways, because he's this big Jack Goldberg dude who comes off as a very genuine person when they allow him to be in AEW.
I know. I mean, you look back at that interview we did with JR, and he was talking about, his dad, and that was all really down, like genuine, relatable stuff. And then he had to turn to camera. I'm sure he was told to do this, turn to camera and drop a wrestling promo. And it was such a 180, stark difference from what he was saying just moments before. Yeah. No, just let him be relatable. Let him be himself. Because it's far more effective than having him, be Wardlow's World pro wrestler guy. Yeah, right. When you're a dude who's that big and menacing looking, there needs to be some vulnerability out of your characters, because that's the only way they're going to be relatable, and that's how people latch on to them, and or not. I don't know. It's professional wrestling. People love Goldberg. Who knows? And it's for me, I'm speaking for myself. It's always good to see Bryan Danielson in these reality shows, whether it was Total Bellas.
The little bit with him and with Sammy was awesome.
That was so nice. Although in Total Bellas, when he was going through that rough patch, that was hard to watch. But
yeah.
Early in this season, when they were going over to John Cena's house, that was entertaining stuff.
Yeah, well, I know that, man, that was one of the biggest misses. Was I really thought they had a good opportunity to spin off Total Bellas into Danielson and John Cena.
I know.
Like, living together or some shit.
The closest we got was the John Cena JJ Bella spinoff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was funny stuff. You want me to what? What exactly do you want me to do? Maybe put in a word. What would I say? Well, John Cena's great, man.
Oh, that was great stuff. You want to answer some questions?
Yeah, I got a thread right here on the YouTube for channel members. You got a thread right there on the Patreon.
I do.
Go ahead and
Cole Cruz asked, "What are some dream matches you have for Jay White in AEW?"
Kenny, him and Kenny had a thing in New Japan, didn't they?
Jay White beat him for the U.S. title, I believe.
That's right. Kenny again.
Adam Cole. I know they were both in the four-way at Forbidden Door, but I don't think they've ever had a one-on-one match.
Okay, that's
Adam
a good
Cole
one.
versus Jay White.
Adam Cole. They're supposed to be. Remember, that's what Adam Cole brought him in as his friend during the Undisputed stuff.
Yep.
Let's see here. Lesia here says, I see Wrestle Talk had a video addressing what seems to be the annual layoffs this time of year at WWE. Do you feel there will be layoffs if Vince is back? I unfortunately, you would think that because this is a merger situation that there would be, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be from a talent standpoint or if it would be from an office standpoint.
I would be pretty shocked if there weren't layoffs from an office standpoint. That's pretty typical of mergers and acquisitions and stuff like this. I was reading before this deal was announced that when Endeavor acquired UFC, there was a lot of layoffs.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I think I saw some today where the CEO from Endeavor was saying they're going to look across divisions and try to, optimize teams and stuff like that across the board. That's talking layoffs. They're going to lay people off probably.
Yeah.
As far as talent, I don't know. It depends.
If you look at the philosophies between the two, Triple H hired those people back for depth on the roster. Mm-hmm. If Vince McMahon doesn't think that depth is needed, he might very well, we already saw apparently he cut the LWO coming in on Raw after Mania for the Bad Bunny stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know, if they would stick around. I know they weren't not a return, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Vince wants to stick with a leaner roster, then there's no reason to think that there might not be layoffs.
Yep. Luis here asked, do you think Vince taking over altered FTR's plans? You guys should rank Bullet Club logos in honor of Knife Pervert.
I think that's a great idea for Friendo Club Wrestling.
There we go. Tier list.
Tier list. Yeah, whatever. We'll do one of our own.
If FTR, if their main driving reason for staying with AEW was the schedule, then I don't know if Vince taking over had any impact on the plans or not. I don't know when they made their decision. They could have made their decision months ago.
I suspect they probably did. I have no idea. Now, I'm sure Dax will tell all on his podcast.
Dax was working us the whole time.
He was Dax
FTR wins again.
Good Boy says, what are some top-line feuds for Jay White? Oh, we sort of mentioned that. He says, I feel Adam Cole could produce a 6-star match down the line. Adam Cole's seemingly our number one pick.
Yeah. Kyle, what is going to be the estimated crowd attendance for All In at Wembley? Will it be more than the 80,000 fans at SummerSlam 92? I'd be hesitant. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be pretty surprised they got 80,000.
Aim for 50.
Yeah, I was going to say 50. 50 would be a great turnout.
Aim for 50. Yeah.
Jorge D here in Twitch chat asks, which wrestler should have Hotel California as their theme? If Juice Robinson switched from the rock hard gimmick to like frazzled former hippie, Hotel California would work perfectly.
I can't disagree with that. Yeah. Sweet boy. AEW might be the thing to get me back on Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
Maybe.
AEW wins again.
He's such a crazy looking dude,
Yeah, I know.
He's got a great look. And I don't know why it stuck with me. He called Ricky Stark Sweet Boy. It made me laugh. You're gonna do this, sweet boy. You want to fight? He comes off as such a weirdo, but then his gimmick is like horny.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like right up my alley for
it is
wrestling.
in a lot of ways. It checks all the boxes for Steve.
It kind of does. So here it is. Here it is. Somebody mark this moment. Steve's coming around to Juice Robinson.
Here, April 6, 2023 is the moment that Steve changed his opinion on Juice Robinson.
He does have an S tier Bullet Club shirt, the white and red with the crazy eyes, and it says Rock Hard. That is a really good logo.
It is. It is.
Wow. Carpe Noctum says, do you think Tony Khan is setting up All In to be AEW's WrestleMania?
No, I don't. I kind of feel like this is a one-time thing. They'll do the one All In London because it's a new thing.
You think this isn't going to be an annual thing, or is it a wait and see?
I guess it depends how it does. You know, if they get 12,000 people to show up to this giant soccer stadium, it's going to be a one-time deal. They might move to Wembley Arena. Might have a WrestleMania 8 situation here.
Tony,
WrestleMania 7 situation.
Tony, we're a week out. We've only sold 100 tickets. It's 80,000.
We'll get a lot of walk-ups.
We'll get plenty of walk-ups. Let's see here. Addis Davis says, Jay White is a huge signing, but do you think it'll be much of the same where he has momentum as at the start, or just to be lost in the shuffle in a couple months? Look, man, this might be too much of a glass half full. I get the feeling that Tony Khan will understand he should end up being a big deal, and he's going to keep going with him.
Yeah, I would like to think that's the case, but until I see otherwise, the expectation is that Jay White will be on TV for 3 or 4 weeks, and then he'll fade to the background and be off TV for a while until Tony Khan has an idea for creative for him.
I hope that's not the case.
I hope it's not the case either, but I've been hoping that wouldn't have been the case with Keith Lee, with Swerve, with a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah.
So.
Let's see here. Blind Mask says, could Eddie Kingston return to Dynamite to fight the Blackpool Combat Club with the Elite?
That'd be interesting.
I'd like Eddie Kingston to show up and be like, Jay White, what are you doing here?
Yeah, no, that's the match that needs to happen because Eddie is the one that officially kicked Jay White out of New Japan.
I know. I'd like to see that feud. That'd be cool.
That match was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
Dragon Spaghetti here asks, which 3 to 5 wrestlers would you be interested in to see in an AEW Bullet Club alongside Jay White and Juice Robinson, not including anyone on the roster who was previously a member in New Japan? Not including anyone on the roster. Oh, Ace Austin and Chris Bay.
I like that. Yeah.
Have them on AEW TV.
Dude, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. Give them the AEW tag titles. Higmeister says, do you think, here we go. Do you think Tony is confident of filling Wembley because he has a few things up his sleeve? One of them being signing Drew McIntyre in July when his WWE contract expires.
Well, right now, since Drew is officially still under WWE contract, Tony Khan isn't legally allowed to talk to him. So that would be tampering.
Back channels. Ooh, we got our Dynamite numbers. So Sock says Sean Ross Sapp said his contract isn't up then. Do you think,
sorry, go ahead.
You think Drew would go to AEW?
I'd be pretty surprised. The last couple of years, he's been treated pretty well in WWE, whether Triple H is in charge or Vince. Yeah. I would be pretty surprised. I imagine the reason he hasn't signed anything, assuming that there has even been a contract offer extended, is it's just smart of him to wait till his contract's about to expire, get offers from AEW and WWE, and get the highest dollar amount he can. It just makes sense.
Yep. White Brownie's got the Dynamite numbers, 877,000. AEW wins again.
I mean, those are kind of middling numbers. I don't know about a victory of any sort.
It's kind of funny just to say it.
No, in any context.
It's actually funnier because they're mid numbers.
Mid.
0.30 in the I don't even know what the fuck. What's a good? What's
Chunky
a good?
Monkey here asks, with Danielson going on the record a couple years back on Barstool Wrestling saying a dream match of his is Zack Sabre in England, do you think it will happen at Wembley?
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea, especially I know Zack Sabre Jr. had a match in the States with Ring of Honor, but he said after he lost to Claudio that Claudio is not best technical wrestler and he's not wrestling the United States again, even though he just did not that long ago.
Well, there you go. there you go. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Hey, so a lot of people were talking about, we'll just do this real quick. Not a call. We're not going to call anybody in. I'm still trying to figure out how to ensure that the Vince Gate from the other day doesn't happen again, because it was shocking to everybody, mostly you.
Yeah.
But like, so apparently it's already a preview for SmackDown.
Yeah.
May I ask, do you have it in, can you get it in front of you?
I can get in front of me here in mere moments. Oh, look at that right there.
Awesome.
So of course it was announced today that Triple H is going to address the WWE Universe on SmackDown.
What's he going to say? We're not going anywhere.
So this is what the blurb here says. It says, coming off the most successful WrestleMania in history, the message from the game was simple. We're not going anywhere. It's going to be the situation where Vince is going to have him go out there and say, hey, don't worry, fans. It's the same great WWE product you've been seeing for months. And then it's going to, if it's one of the episodes that Vince decides to rewrite last minute, it's going to be what we saw on Monday. So this is what else is happening on the show. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso ready for in-ring war on SmackDown. Rey taps Santos Escobar in matchup against Dom and Damian Priest. New SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley claims her throne on SmackDown. And then Conquering Heroes Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens return to SmackDown as undisputed tag champs. And then Imperium and Brawling Brute set to throw down in 6-man tag team clash. So a lot of continuing stories from WrestleMania.
What was that last one? Imperium versus what?
Imperium versus Brawling Brutes.
Okay. All right. So what we need to do is like screen cap these now and see what actually happens on SmackDown, or see what changes tomorrow in the lead up to SmackDown. Because you have a call with Paul tomorrow if we can get him on the line.
Yeah, if we can get him.
Yeah, if we can get him. So we'll see if that happens.
Yes.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Man, we had a big crowd here on the YouTube, and we appreciate it. All the new people here, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. We're kind of new at this podcasting game, or new at the YouTube space. So, y'all who are coming in here, hopefully if you guys have some comments, some suggestions, for a couple of new YouTubers in our early 20s, drop them in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.